So this is the second example you can saw here, like passing the event along with the button click. So the same example, the previously it was like just without any pass parameters or any attributes, the events with those buttons. So here is the additional ones. You can see the passing the event along with the button click is a button, and then there's the edit type selection button. So you can pass the user address as a string value, and you see when you hit the button, and it's automatically call the events and see the respective information or respective pages to go with. So you want to bind the corresponding event, and click, and then the example is like you pass the user address as a event passing attributes. So the example. Let's have it continue. So here's another example, like you have it's a really good example when we did it, the real development. You can see get the real example for these cases. So you have an event with event, you have a selections, and your selection has the event attribute with event to pass on click on change event, and then you have the options like point, line, string, polygon, circle, square, box, and start and null. So if it's the drop down list, you can see you can select it, and then you can build the respective geometry like rectangle, triangles, circles, points, and boxes, and depending which the selection you have it. So that means you select it, and automatically the functionality will be changed. You can draw the respective geometries into the maps. And from this geometry is really important. I will show you when I start the developments for those cases, because this is the really most important and most critical one. And I saw the lot of the examples into the internet, and it doesn't fit. It's in the enterprise level. There is a need really you need to be clear concept and how it's need to be, because there is a lot of requirements, and then there's a high demand for the geoinformatics or students or researcher, and the geo developer means, yeah, we have it like in Germany there's a lot of non-geo developers, so we need really more geo developer. That means if you have a really good knowledge about the maps, and if you have a GIS, geography information systems knowledge, and then you are really fit with any requirements. Doesn't matter is a geo application or non-geo applications. That means, I mean, the Google's as like one of the biggest Google geo service provider, and Yahoo also, the Yahoo Maps, and even the OpenStreetMaps, and there's a lot of the companies, they are looking everywhere. They need geo and non-geo part. That means there's still the really high demand for the geo functionalities to build geo functionalities. It doesn't matter in traffic systems, or it doesn't matter in bank or insurance systems. They had to find out where their customer located, where their service is located. If you are really the GSM communication, mobile communication, or smart city, and that means the smart city e-parking or everything, that's their needed high demand for your geo functionalities. That means you can see where your service is located, where is the customer located, all the facilities located. Doesn't matter it is the public provider or semi-public private provider or private provider. So you need geo functionality. That's why I try to give it to you a really professional idea. How can you start, and what is the really goal, how we can integrate the geo technology and non-geo technology. That means normal HTML page or HTML normal web application plus with the geo application, web geo application. That's the basic idea for this application to share with you. So you see the selections and then options, and there's event on change event pass, and this automatically when you select in the view page and automatically change it into the models, and then you take the information and the raw and pass your JavaScript library and build the respective object. I will show you when I start the developments. So here's a one-way data binding, one example that I explained earlier. That's once. So we have a one components, the application components. Every Angular application has a components, and it's the title of the application. So you see the title of the applications, and there is input, and then you see that if you try to display this title of the application name anywhere, any pages of your application, just you can pipe it like titles, and they have paragraphs and titles, and then even though you can bind it passing the bundle values at attributes like input value, and you pass the, your attribute name here. For this case, here is title, or you can, even though bypass, you can do it like this way. So you can directly pipe it, or you can, if it's input marks, then you can put it like value equal to your title, then with pipes, and then you can calibrations like here, input the calibrations and the put titles, and one-way data binding. So this is the most important one, because every web application nowadays there's a two-way data binding. That means it's a dynamic. If you change the view, and model will change. If you change the models, and the view will automatically sync or synchronize. So two-way data binding is a combination of your property or event binding. That's I said this is the most important. So if you have a property level binding or event binding, that's I will already show you how the event binding works, how the property binding works. It is a continuous synchronization of data from view to the components, and the component to the view. That means into the models to the view, and view to the models. Changes made into the components data and is sync to the view, and should immediately update the model into the corresponding component like view data. So you see the descriptions. Two-way data binding, you have a templates, you have a view, and then this is a change to the view, update the models. So it comes here, and if you change the models, and then change to the model, update to the view, and continuous update models in the single source of trust. That means it's a synchronization between your view and models. Now, that's why the nowadays the lot of the web application expecting like reactive type of forms. So this is one of the, in the background, the reactive form working like two-way data binding. So that's the need. Somehow if you have a really dynamic pages, there is only options that I learned. Two-way data binding is the best solution for you. If it has really some part of the static, then then one-way data binding is okay. But if you have a really dynamic page like stock informations, or dynamic traffic informations, or dynamic smart city health information from the hospitals or clinics, in that case you need to be really two-way data binding is good solutions with the reactive form or model driven forms. So if I go there further, we have a two-way data bindings in the Angular. In the out of box, the two-way data binding free Angular, there is one commonly used directive that makes the two-way data binding possible. This called directive called ngModels. So ngModels, this is the most important directives for the two-way data binding. So I will show you when I did the real development. So it is kind of some sort of screen from my developments from the address registration forms. You have a forms modules, and it has to be imported into the your components. That's I already explained in my previous screencast. How can you import your necessary dependencies into the application.module.ts files? Then just close look in the previous screencast, and you get the really clear idea how you can import and how can you manage your dependency injections. So you see that one of the input, we have a levels. That's I talk about that one, the internationalizations, the multi-language support, German, French, and Deutsch and Bengali. So that's like you have a pipe, the key, and then this automatically label, and this is your input box. So this type input and form control name is like your address ID, the attribute name is address ID. This is the your models, your controller models, I mean the component models. So you see the pipes here, ngModels, that's our main directives, and it's passed to the respective attributes like address ID as attribute. Type in the input, and input's value is written into this value, and then reflected back to the view. So that means it's a synchronization communication in the two-directional way. So view to models, model to view. ngModels can be used with the form elements like input, implementation, two-way data binding. That's the most important one. But don't worry, I will show you more detailed information. Understanding of